Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the district delegate meeting. And let's begin by having the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Would you please remain standing? I would like to take this time to spend one moment with our heads bowed in memory of Dan Comerford. I believe he was an extremely active member and really loved Sun Lakes, and we shall miss him. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, we'll begin our agenda with the number one item, and an approve of the October 6, 2022 District Delegate Assembly Meeting Minutes. May I have a motion, please? I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Are there any changes or corrections? Pardon?
My name is Joe Brown.
Okay. Would you note that, Jason, please? Thank you.
And who was the first and second? Linda and myself. Thank you very much.
Okay. All those in favor say aye, please. Aye. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is going to be the Recreation Department. Kara, you want to tell us what you've done, what you're going to do?
Thank you, everyone. We have Debbie Franklin here with us today, and thank you, everyone who has selected your families for the holiday wish. I think we have 2 more districts that need to check in, so she'll be here for a little bit longer, and please don't forget to get some families for the holiday wish program. Linda will be joining us in just a moment, and she's going to walk around with a little lottery so you can select your trees location for the district tree displays. So she'll be around in just a second. So then when the meeting is over, we'll have you check in with Linda and we can show you on the map where those tree locations are. We'll also give it to Mark so that he'll be able to label those tree locations for you. You'll be able to pick up your trees starting November 15th. The first day to display your tree is the day after Thanksgiving. That is November 25th. We would ask that all trees are up by December 1st because that is the district tree lighting ceremony. So we'll meet about 4:30 in the parking lot here at the main clubhouse, turn them all on at 5 o'clock, and then we will have a little celebration here with some performers from the Sun Lakes as well as the Spectrum Dance Studio, and some cookies and hot cocoa and chocolate. All your trees will need to be down by December 5th. So I will also have that information, excuse me, not December, January. Whoopsie daisy. All of a sudden, Jason's eyes got really big. January 5th is the date that all your trees will need to be down. But we'll have all that information posted. When you pick up your trees, it'll be on the website. And of course, always just call Linda or I or Nadine or Felicia here in the Recreation Department. You want to go around and give them their numbers they can select? So while Linda's doing that, I wanted to let everybody know that the weekend music is going to be in the Sand Wedge. It's a little bit cool this weekend, so we just went ahead and decided to do that rather than use those heaters out there. The Fall Craft Show is this weekend. That's Friday and Saturday from 9 to 1, both days. So it is Friday and Saturday. Starting on Saturday, there will be the polling location, will be at the North Clubhouse. Yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry, Cara, can you slow down a little bit?
Sure.
I can't keep up.
Okay. How far did you want me to go back?
Just the last two things you said.
Okay, all right, so the craft show is this weekend. The polling location will be at the North Clubhouse, and that'll be open Saturday morning from 8 to 5, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Then on Tuesday, because that is the actual election day, it'll be open, I think it's at 7:30 in the morning until the polls close, so about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night.
When the delegate's over, we'll.
If you are wanting to do the vote by mail, but you didn't want to drop it into the post office box, you could take that and drop that off as well as voting in person. So you could do both ways. Monday, November 7th, is the Pumpkin Pie Social, put on by the Recreation Advisory Committee. That'll be in the Sand Wedge at 2 p.m. Then on Saturday, November 12th, is the Veterans Walk. So please, if you were interested in doing that, please see Linda or myself, and we can get you registered for that wonderful event. We are going to have another flu vaccine clinic on Monday, November 14th. Again, that'll be from 1 to 4 here in the ballroom. And we have a bunch of other things coming up. I've got all the information with myself, Linda, Nadine, or Felicia. We're happy to answer any questions, go over dates, times, locations. You've got that on Channel 97, the Lifestyles magazine. Yes, I see a question.
Use the microphone, please.
Push the little button and turn it green and use the microphone.
So you can put your tree up as early as the day after Thanksgiving,
So the November,
November 26th, and then all trees need to be up and ready to be lit on December 1st. That's a Thursday.
The reason we insist on you use the microphone at any time is not for us here. It is for the television. Without the microphone, there is no audio. So please, even if you have to say just a few words, please find a microphone to speak to. Go ahead, Cara, I'm sorry.
Sure, no, that's okay, thank you. So that's all I have for today. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Where do we pick the trees up?
yeah.
You'll pick the trees up in the bus room. So,
Bus
in the bus room, excuse me,
On November 15th?
on November 15th.
Perfect.
And you can pick them up anytime after that until Thanksgiving.
Where?
In the bus room, sir. So the room right behind us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll say anytime after 8 o'clock. Anytime after 8 o'clock in the morning. So we'll get them all assembled on that Monday, so that way they'll be ready for you to pick them up on Tuesday, the 15th. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Cara, and thank you, Linda, for all the work you've done. And Debbie in the back there, thank you very much for coming today and helping on the welcome home. Oh, yes. Use the microphone, please.
Cara, they're going to need to know where they put their trees, because I think there's a question. Please.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Where do we know where to put the tree? Where's the map? Is that gonna come around
It's
or
gonna
just go
be
up?
with
So
Linda.
go up there
Uh-huh.
and,
So when the meeting's all done, Linda has the map, and she'll be able to correspond your location with your number.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Yes.
You go to the microphone, please.
You can come here. You can come up here.
I just wanted to know, this is the first time I'm doing the trees. So we pick the trees up by the 15th and put them in on the streets displays, and then we decorate them by a certain date. Is that what I understand?
So you
Right.
can pick your tree up as early as the 15th. If you don't have a place to store it, you can leave it in the bus room until you're ready to decorate it, because you can't start decorating it until the day after Thanksgiving. So some districts leave their trees here until they're ready to decorate, because they don't have space to store them. Then
My-
on the 26th, you can decorate it, put it out at its appropriate spot. And then it has to be finished, decorating, ready to light up by December 1st. Okay?
May I ask what district you are from? Only through you, okay. Are there any other questions of the Recreation Department of Cara in regards to the welcome home or the Christmas trees? You will hand out a location or email a location map to the delegates?
Yes, sir, I can do that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Daniel Cosner, District 23. How many, we have a number of new residents in our district, and I haven't seen a list or anything for the welcome home or any kind of a schedule for when we will.
Okay, the welcome home, the first one in the future will be after January 1. We're negotiating right now. We're attempting to get a fixed dates, if you want, throughout the year, perhaps the third month in each quarter, something like that, on a Thursday night at a certain time. So we're negotiating with the Welcome Home Committee, and we'll have that information at the next meeting in January. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question, Nita from District 17. I have a question. Is Welcome Home through rec now?
No, it is still part of the
I'm
marketing
sorry.
and communications.
Yeah. Any other questions for Cara in the Recreation Department?
That's what my question
Okay? Thanks, Cara.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was just asking that. You mentioned Welcome Home and
Yes.
Kara helping out with that. And I was just wondering if Recreation was in charge of the Welcome Home now?
No, marketing is.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, the next item on our agenda is the food and beverage operation. Is Thomas here, or?
No, I'll be giving that update.
Chris, you have a report?
I do indeed. So first, this is directly from Thomas. The month of October was a hustling and bustling month for food and beverage. From the Tuesday Mexican extravaganzas to Thursday's Italian night, both buffets have been well received by our residents. Remember, the buffets go dark in December and resume in January. In addition, the Oktoberfest event on 10/15/22 was a huge success and attended by nearly 200 guests. The Monday night football party continues to draw many residents for friends, food, and great fun. And I think, Jason, as I looked at the numbers, the game with the Cleveland Browns stomping the Bengals was one of the top sellers. Thank you, Nick Chubb. Okay, continuing. November, again, as a reminder for all in here and those watching on TV, please remember that the Italian night and Mexican extravaganza, the Tuesdays and Thursdays, will be dark in December. Again, we have to do that because we have many events that are coming near. It's the holiday. We pivot our operations to running those events. November is here, and the Food and Beverage Department is preparing for its Greek night this Saturday. Is Thomas in a toga? Toga is Roman, so no, it's not Greek, sorry. This Saturday, November 5th at 5 p.m. here in the ballroom. Over 250 guests will join Thomas and his family for an evening of delicious Greek food, folk dancing to a live Greek band, and belly dancing. The restaurant will be closed for dinner that evening, but the bar lounge will be open for service, and our weekend entertainment will be in the Sand Wedge both Friday and Saturday evening. In addition, reservations are filling up fast for the bountiful Thanksgiving buffet. A delicious feast will be prepared by the hands of our executive chef, Chris Rubino. There are 2 seating times, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Call or come in to the restaurant hostess station to make reservations and purchase your tickets. So right now, as of today, there are 500 tickets have been sold for this event. Again, we're seeing the members, COVID, the decline of COVID, people coming back out, our social interaction is coming back, and 500 reservations, really a great start for the holidays. Please note there are some flyers. So we have this will be up on our website, I'm sure Cara and Hernan already have it, for the Thanksgiving brunch. The price, adults $34.95, children under 10 years of age $16.95, children under 5 are free. And we have for the brunch menu, carved roast turkey, stuffed pork, tenderloin, traditional dressing, cranberry sauce, turkey gravy, seasoned dark turkey meat, baked bourbon salmon, and other great items, including, of course, pumpkin pie, ice cream, tri-berry cobbler, chocolate cake, wonderful items. Also, don't forget that there are Thanksgiving to-go meals for sale and can be picked up on Wednesday before Thanksgiving between 12 and 3 p.m. The individual meals will also have warming instructions and include a slice of pumpkin pie. So this is also on our website. The to-go meal is $19.95. Of course, these do not include the tax and service charge. In the to-go meal, you have turkey and dressing, white and dark meat, turkey gravy, cranberry sauce, green beans, mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, 2 King Hawaiian rolls, not just one, a slice of pumpkin pie as well. So some great things that Thomas and the team are coming up with. And lastly, the featured dessert for November is homemade bread pudding with rum sauce. That completes the report from Food and Beverage.
Thank you, Chris. You did a nice job.
I was trying to impersonate Thomas. I'm just not going to do the dancing.
Chris, can you do, the price for the Thanksgiving dinner? I'm sorry? The price for the Thanksgiving dinner, please?
There we go. So the price, adults $34.95, children under 10 $16.95, children under 5 free. Again, the price does not include tax and service charge.
Okay. Any other questions? Dolores?
This question is for Jim. I know someone that's on the restaurant committee with you. She said that you have the little blurb that you want us to put in the newsletter.
I do. Actually, I emailed that to all of you.
You did?
To either, about a
Okay.
week and a half ago, to either
Okay.
cut and paste on, or if you need a copy, I can get you a copy, but
Okay.
you should have it on email.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Now, there's a little confusion in my mind, because some of the things that are offered by the restaurant include tax and service, and some do not. Now, am I correct in the taco night and the Italian tickets, those include tax and service, but these do not?
So right now they do, and this is going to be one of the branding, marketing things that we change so that it will be a consistent price, and that is the base price does not include tax or service charge. We're going to be doing that after this, the end of the last Thursday and Tuesday events. Remember, they're dark in December, so January when we roll out, we will have pricing as consistent. So there won't be that included. It will be base price plus. And you've kind of seen that in some of the marketing materials we're doing for Thanksgiving, that it says prices do not include. So right now, there is some confusion. Does it include it, does it
Okay.
not? Going
Okay.
forward, it will be a consistent, this is the base price,
Plus-
does not include.
Plus tax and.
Right.
Okay,
Okay, good.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much for the report. Next, we have Michelle Walter, who will give a number of different reports. Want to start off with the charitable trust, please?
Good afternoon, delegates, Master Board, Chris and Jason. I want to talk first about the Sun Lakes Charity Grant Presentation event. We have this every year, and I've given all the delegates one of these. And what you need to really put in your newsletter, apparently we only had 20 people that attended last year. Is that correct, Randy? About 20 people that attended last year? We really want, you residents are the ones that made this event happen, all these events that happen during the year. So we would like for you to, it's an opportunity for you to meet with the local charity representatives who will accept the donations. It's going to be on Thursday, November 17th, 6 o'clock in the main ballroom. So we've got 24 recipients that are going to be accepting donations, and we'd like for you to meet them. They're going to be here in the ballroom, and we're going to have all kinds of tables set up, and they'll have information, and you'll be able to talk to them. So it's a good opportunity. Since you've been spending your money during Charity Week, it's a good opportunity for you to get to know them and know where your money's going. So that's that particular one. But I also wanted to let you know that it was not just Charity Week in raising money, but we also had other events that happened during the year. That was also, I think the tea was one of them, and I can't remember the others, but there was a couple of other ones. Oh, the Augusta, yes, that made money. So that money is included with Charity Week, and that's the money that we're going to be giving away. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, over $80,000? Yes. Over $80,000. I think that's awesome. So to let you know also, next year, this still apparently has to be approved by the board, we're going to spread Charity Week up. We're going to do February, June, August, and October. And we're going to have it separate. People have complained that, you're spending $700 at one time. So if we split it up a little bit more, we may be able to get more people involved and have more of a turnout. So the charity trust is working on that. We've got different events that we're going to be doing. So hopefully the board will approve this, and we'll be able to get this done next year. Okay, the next little item is the City of Banning, the Proposition 218 protest. If you have not filled this out, you still have an opportunity to. I have forms with me today. If you need, I've been getting several people emailing me saying that they need for me to send them one. I can email you one, and you can drop it off at admin. I've been picking up every 4 days, picking them up from admin, and we're really getting a good response. So if you have any questions regarding this to the districts, please let them know. That I'll be more than happy to go through it with them, drop one off at their house, or I can email them one. I've been emailing them. So please get these in. They have to be in by the 8th. So just to let you know, get them in. I'm hoping to take them all down by Monday so that they can start counting and getting all these votes in. Okay, the next one is St. Mary's Church at Morongo Indian Reservation does Thanksgiving turkey giveaways every year. They have donated over 10,000 turkeys every single year. Over 10,000 turkeys they donate. So I was wondering if there are any households here in Sun Lakes that are in need of a turkey. These are large, uncooked butterball turkeys. So district delegates, if you can check with your districts to see if any resident is in need of a turkey, meaning that they can't go out and purchase one for themselves or it's too expensive. So I will need a count and the address by November 10th. You can contact me at 202-8009. And guess what? Your master board president will be delivering these turkeys. So please make sure that your residents really, really need a turkey. It's not for us that can afford them and, we're cooking for a large family. It's for some that are maybe homebound and they can't get out and they're going to have a caregiver maybe cook it for them. So, let them know, put it in your newsletter and let me know. And this is just a wonderful thing that Morongo does. And they have done it every single year. And Bob goes and helps package all these and tags them and puts them on pallets. So anyway, thank you for your attention. Thank
Michelle,
you.
what's the due date on that?
The due date on that is the 10th.
Okay.
November
everyone.
10th.
November 10th,
So they
everyone,
can call
remember.
me. They can call me and let me know District 1 needs 3 turkeys. And
Okay.
however they want to do it, just to let me know. And then I'll get the addresses later. That way I can give them a count when we go to Mass on Sunday.
Does our food and beverage operation qualify?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There's a question there. Would you come up to the mic, please?
Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. So I was reading this form. Are we supposed to fill it out as if both of us are property owners, 2 of these forms, one for husband or just?
Speak into the microphone, please, Mike.
I'm trying to determine
Just
if-
pull it up.
Trying to determine if we're supposed to fill it out as just a property owner, one for the household, or for each individual that's on the deed.
Okay, it is 1 per household because you get 1 bill. You both don't get a bill. So it's 1 per household. If you have, if you're, as a homeowner, you're going to fill out the top portion. If you are a renter, you have a rental here, your renter is going to fill out the bottom portion, and they're going to put their account number, and you're going to put your PIN number on there. So it is 1 per household because you only get 1 bill.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for all of the information. I think that we have enough to put into our newsletters, okay? The next item on our agenda is the EPAP report.
Good afternoon, everyone. On October 20th at 10:20, we had our drill in conjunction with the Great California Shakeout. The EOC activated radio contact with the districts at 10:23 in the morning. All but 3 districts checked in. The first district initiated contact at 10:23 and the last district initiated contact at 11 a.m. 5 districts had MRTs and responded to an injured person within their district. 1 district did not have an MRT, and we dispatched a nurse from the EOC to treat that injury. We had 1 animal rescue event that we were unable to complete due to a miscommunication. The drill was terminated at 11:31 a.m. All data from participating districts has not been completely retrieved yet. The districts that we do have data on show the following. 1,984 homes were interviewed or viewed, and that's approximately 60% of the homes. Of those homes, 1,004, or 50%, displayed the yellow placard in the window. Of the homes, 148, or approximately 7.5%, either were do not disturbs or were vacant. We would like to thank Mike Birchfield of the Golf Maintenance. He evacuated his employees from the building. He then used that time to do a safety meeting and discuss what to do in an emergency. He then came to the EOC and reported his status. Most of the EPAP coordinators that attended the debriefing meeting expressed disappointment at the lack of resident interest. All of us are concerned that without volunteer participation, the community will not be best equipped to take care of the event, to take care of the community in an emergency.
Good, thank you for the report. Delegates, I know that our participation in the EPAP drill each year is all based on the coordinator in our district. And some of us do not have a coordinator. I think we ought to really search and go after the residents in our districts, and let's find a coordinator so the burden doesn't fall upon you or just goes by the wayside. And I think that's an assignment we have to all carry and all believe in during this next year, okay? The drill has, over the years, has been extremely successful. We've probably been one of the very few HOAs across the country that have been equipped to handle any kind of a disaster, and now we have it more frequent because we're having blackouts. And I think that's when we have to really work hard on. So let's work together and let's get the coordinators moving and get medical people in our districts and revive this program as best we can. The next item on the agenda is a discussion on the attachments to the district newsletter. Randy?
Yeah, as we talked about at the last meeting, the board has decided, excuse me one sec. The board has decided to put together, well, first off, we've got a major initiative to create a lot of policies around here, rather than having to go back through minutes, not just delegate assembly, but throughout the community. So that's something we're doing, and this will be like the third one we've done now. We wanted to have it so there was no confusion of what the HOA is paying for the district newsletters and the basic concept and process. So you guys were all sent the first draft. We had a couple changes on a draft 2. Bob and I sat down with Joe and Jim on Tuesday, went over the couple little things that were changed in draft 2, so now that became draft 3, which was handed out to you guys today. And so we're opening it to discussion. It's basically everything has been followed from an administrative board standpoint to the delegate assembly. In speaking with Linda a minute ago, we are not trying to tell you what to put in your newsletters. We're not telling you how big they can be. We're telling you that effectively that the HOA will pay for the 2 pages. Other than that, it's spelled out pretty clear in here, and Linda's grabbing her mic now for a question.
Thank you for the work you have done. I have not seen an analysis of what each district spends on a newsletter. I've not seen that. I'd like to see that if we go back at least 1-2 years. If we're staying within the budget, then I don't know why we need, I mean, I understand why we need a policy, but I'm also concerned that we can no longer have raffles to raise money for our districts because of unfortunate circumstances. A lot of districts do not have a way of raising money. And how are we to pay for our Christmas flyers or event flyers if we don't have the budget for that? We've never been charged for our own district's flyers. If a group wants to add a flyer to our newsletters, in the past, they have paid for them and then we have attached them. I have a big concern that we have to pay for our own flyers if we don't have an analysis to go back and say, this is why.
We can definitely check on, the line item budget aspects of that, and Chris and I can work on that. Yeah, he just said it'll take a little bit of digging, but we can look at an analysis. But the one thing that we wanted to make clear from what we had heard throughout, and even last meeting it came up, is I'll speak for District 22, the 2 years I was a delegate. I was told from day one that any flyers were our responsibility by who I took over after, I can't say the right word right. And some districts just cover that out of their fundraising that they've done, and so it's never come up. So, and everybody has different thoughts on it. I understand your point, Linda, I get it. And if it's a fundraising event, that's something that, if that's something that the leadership or you guys vote on, saying X number, maybe 4 quarters out or 4 times out of the year, a flyer for that could be something that could be added to this if it comes to it, if the board approves it. But we can make some adjustments. That's why we're having discussion. We're making it very clear Our intent was not to just simply tell you, boom, this is what we're doing. Our intent is to get discussion and get some opinions from everybody, as we did a little bit last meeting.
Well, I might add to that, Randy. Over the years, each district monitored and handled their own. Now, over the years, one or two or three, maybe, usually just two, districts had more than 2 pages. So it never occurred to us or occurred to anyone that there was a problem, so to speak. Lately, the last year or two, there have been a number of districts that have increased their pages. By doing that, they've added the costs, and we've never had a policy before. It was time to have a policy. So now you have 2 pages. If we had a flyer, I know from my experience, and I've been a delegate for too long, and some of you have, in fact, I think you have in the past, you just reduced a page and you added the flyer, and there was never any problem as far as the cost was concerned. As far as income or a treasury in the district, when you have an event, you add $1 so that you take in more money than you have, and therefore you're adding to your treasury. You have to manage your own district. The board, the HOA, is not going to give us any money, and they shouldn't give us any money to manage our districts. Do I make...
Joe, I disagree. I'm sorry. 12 years as a district delegate, we never paid for our own flyers to
No, because we always monitored them and included them when we also never had 4 and 5 pages to be printed also.
I agree, Joe, but
Okay.
that's up to us to monitor. That's up to you to
okay.
monitor, and we should have been looking at the delegate flyers.
Okay, right.
Newsletter.
Now, with the flyers, it's your second sheet. That's it. And it only happens, what, once or twice a year? Maybe 3 times if you have 3 or 4 events? Okay. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
You want to go first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only issue I have on this is it's Christmas. There's a flyer. Most of us have parties. And the Sun Lakes Country Club restaurant benefits from that. So I don't think that I should have to pay for that once a year flyer.
Why? You pay for all the other flyers, or you don't pay for them. All you do is submit it with your newsletter. Cut your newsletter
Most
back
of the other
for
ones I
December.
print off on my own printer and take around.
Remember, years back, districts had as many as 5 and 6 events a year, each district, times 21. And we never had a problem, we never had a question came up until the past year or two when we've had less events, and yet we've become more verbose in our newsletters. And all we are doing, a lot of times, I'll be critical, we're reporting the same thing that's in the lifestyles and on Channel 97. Why do we do that? I don't know. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry. Over here, please.
Part of what we want to do is create some excitement for the new residents. And I feel that our newsletter is for our district. District 17's newsletter is for District 17. And we usually have anywhere from 3 to 4 events during the year. We have a flyer with a tear-off where they can say they're coming and how many people are coming, and they submit it along with their check. And it's a whole separate piece of paper because it's not part of you're not cutting up your newsletter to send this in. Just today, we were asked to include like 3 or 4 different things in our newsletter that takes up room, and I don't think we should have to do that.
No.
And I agree with you that if it's a club or somebody, another district's event or something like that, no, it doesn't belong in our newsletter. But I think 3 or 4 times a year having a flyer that people can, fill it out and turn it in with their check, I don't think that that's too much to ask.
Okay, I think we might be confusing a few things. When I send out a notice to you about awareness, or I send out about some club or group, I am not asking you to print that, add it to your newsletter. This is for information. That awareness that's the board's problem.
That's for you.
That is something that the board approves or doesn't approve of, okay?
This is not the awareness.
So we are not requesting. Now, the charity, nobody is asking you to pre-print this. All we are giving you this is information. If you want to write something in your newsletter about the charitable presentation for the benefit of your residents, that's fine. This is just information. Whenever I tell you, or I'm sorry, I don't tell you anything. Whenever I advise you that what I am sending out, I would suggest that you had this added to your newsletter, I will say that. Otherwise, I am sending out anything that is sent to me from a group, a club, or an organization, I will send it out as information. Please understand that, okay? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I would think that we would have 2 pages and 1 flyer, because we need that flyer to be separate, because I'm going to distribute my Christmas flyer separate from my newsletter,
Why?
because I get more responses that way.
Why do you need 2 pages? Why not boil it down to 1 page? And
Well,
and a
I'm
flyer?
saying that my flyer should be separate from
Okay.
my 2 pages.
All right, George, go ahead.
Well, I think we can all, up to the fact that you don't want two-point type so that your people can't read it, I think most of the information that I would send out in my newsletter is 1 page. And if you have a flyer, you put it on the back. I have seen other newsletters. I keep saying you're seeing your people shaking your head, but I've seen newsletters with all kinds of really cool, fancy illustrations and 3-4 pages, and yeah, it's really pretty, but we don't need a 4-page newsletter.
George, I think what we are referring to is a separate flyer. The bottom part of the flyer with your check has to be turned into the treasurer for an event. So if it's on the back side and you have good information on one side, and then you put your flyer on the back of that, you're cutting off information that you should have.
Do you really think that your residents keep your flyer for a month?
Definitely.
Your newsletter for a month?
Yes, yes.
I highly doubt it.
You don't put, but George, you don't put out a newsletter.
This is not a debate, please. I will, go ahead.
Thank you. Cal Martin from District 21. A couple of things. Obviously, this is basically a conversation about cost control. So I'm going to ask first if there's ever been consideration to putting a high-speed copy machine that's available to the district. Therefore, instead of sending something off to the printer, you're cutting that margin out of the transaction. You'd have a much more efficient printing system. I'm sure that there's enough wiggle room in people's schedules that they could fit it in. If that were to ever happen, I think there would be a significant cost savings in doing that.
Would you please speak into the microphone, please?
I'm sorry. Get closer. Okay, where should I start from? I think if we put in a copy machine that people could actually copy their own letters from, it would take out some of the grief here regarding expense. It would be a much more cost-effective proposition, I think you'll find, than actually sending it out to print each time, and it also saves people from driving around town. That's the first suggestion. And the second suggestion is more of a question. I am baffled as to why we are not given a current listing of the email of everyone who lives in our district. because that's where the true cost savings in all this comes from. Then you're not limited by any number of pages that you wish to send, and you can send as frequently as you need to, instead of going through this process of having to print something and then have it manually delivered, which is, for some people, the right thing to do. I mean, I understand that we have to reach each individual in our district and find out how they wish to be contacted, and then proceed with them. And there's a big transition going on between, I think, probably age generations, people that had to grow up with a computer, and we're not catching up here at Sun Lakes yet, and everybody that's going to be moving in here is going to be wondering why.
Okay.
So that's my input.
Okay, next. Go ahead.
I don't know, don't we get a special price from our printing company? I mean, how expensive is it per
yeah.
100? Could we
I'm
have
sorry,
could we have a cost breakdown, please?
That's out of our bailiwick. That's up to the board and the administration as far as pricing and costs are concerned. Okay? That's not up for discussion.
Can they tell us?
It's not up for discussion.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Can we vote on 2-page, 1 flyer?
That's up to the board.
What was the question right now? I'm sorry.
Can we vote on 2 pages, 1 flyer, separate?
That we can vote on that? Yes. And we can offer that as a recommendation to the board. Absolutely. That has nothing to do with the board commitment as of this moment. The board will not do any commitment of any type at this moment. Okay? This is a discussion on the part of the delegates.
And if you do give
if
us
I have a motion, we will have, I would rather have just the delegates in this discussion, Linda, okay? If someone wants to make a motion, I would accept an emotion.
I'd like to make the motion that we have 2 printed back-to-back copies and a separate flyer.
How often, when? Okay, anytime? Anytime throughout the year?
Limit.
Pardon?
Are you talking about the flyer or the newsletter?
No.
I think we have to have a limit. When I took over,
You're made a motion to have 2 pages of newsletter
And a
and
flyer.
1 flyer. When? How often?
3 times a year.
it depends, Joe, because
When?
monthly,
Every month?
every month, but we don't have flyers every month.
Okay, then say when. How often?
Every time we have an event that deals with our district, we put a flyer out that needs the signatures back.
Okay. would
And
you
how
re-
many times is that?
Would
2,
you-
3?
4 times a year.
4
I think-
times a year.
Okay, we have a motion that we would like to have 2 pages and 1 flyer ability 4 times a year. Do I have a second?
second that motion.
A second. I have a second.
I
All
seconded
those-
it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Please raise your hands and we'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
4 times a year.
14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. We have 17 positive.
Can I just get clarification? Was that 2 two-sided pages?
No.
No.
1
Two.
two-sided?
No,
That's why I'm just confused. I want to make sure for the minutes.
Chris, this is 1 sheet,
Mhm.
2 sides.
Correct.
The 2 pages.
Correct.
So we have 2 pages and 1 flyer 4
Got it.
times a year.
Got it.
Okay?
That was the
That-
clarification on the motion was,
But the flyer is 4 times a year, not the newsletter.
right,
So the
I'm just talking
flyer.
about, because I heard something different from the newsletter. I think it was heard in the audience
Yeah.
of, are you saying 2 two-sided, 1 two-sided? That's
One
perfect.
two-sided.
Okay. Are there any other discussion?
So
Any
Joe,
other
the
questions?
motion did pass, correct?
Pardon?
The motion did pass. Okay, I will make sure this gets back to the board.
Well, I'll send you a note if you want, or you want to accept what we have here.
I can accept
Okay.
it from here.
All righty.
But Joe,
So-
if a group or an organization wants to include their flyer in our newsletters, the burden of payment is on them,
No.
not us.
If If
That's
any
correct.
group
That's
or
number 4 on,
club,
that's number 4 on the,
Yeah.
on the list.
if any group or club asks me to have you print with your newsletter, I will say that. Otherwise, everything that I send out to you from any group, any organization, any club will be strictly advisory information. Okay? Is that an?
It's number 4 on here, Joe, so it's fully explained.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to make clear that
Can-
everyone understands.
Can I get clarification? The
Yeah.
way I understood it is, this is page 1, this is page 2, and they're double-sided. That's
No,
what
no.
you're allowed.
No, no, that's not true.
So now you're saying it's 1 page.
Okay, this is one sheet. Now, you can have printed.
I have a lot of residents who, and they tell me this is their main source of information. They don't have computers, they don't have emails, and they don't watch Channel 97, or whatever the reasoning.
Me too.
And that's why I put, it's pretty full of information, and it's not duplicated if it is in the lifestyles.
Okay, it's one page on this side, number 2 page on this side, like a book. Okay? Now, if you want 2 separate pages, I don't know whether page 1 and then page 2, you want 2 doubles.
Well, you're duplicating it. Yeah.
No, it's like a book. A book, you have page 1, and on the reverse side, you have page 2. Am I right?
That is correct. It's covered under number 3 on the policy.
Okay, all right. I'm not inventing the wheel, I am merely explaining what the printer and what the board considers.
It says one sheet.
And again, I will repeat, this is one sheet of paper, and this is page 1 on the printed side, and this is page 2 on the back side. Now, I am not sure whether the printer at the same cost will print page 1 on this side and then have a second sheet as the page 2.
No.
That would be more to do it that way.
That
No.
would, that is,
I know what
And
you're saying, Raylene.
Clarification is, this is a 1-page newsletter, double-sided, not 2 pages. This is 2 pages.
Let me read number 3 for those at home.
I read what it said.
The Sun
but
Lakes
it's-
HOA will pay for a 2-page newsletter for each district monthly. For clarity, this is one sheet of paper printed front and back. This newsletter will be printed with black ink on white paper. Exceptions, November and December, newsletters may use colored paper with black ink or colored text. And I'm gonna actually add on white paper to the end of that sentence.
okay, one sheet, right? On 2 sides, okay.
And that starts
And-
January 1st, 2023?
If it gets approved. We haven't finalized it yet. But that is the goal, to start January 1, 2023.
Are we allowed to tell can we tell our districts that our pages are going to be 2 pages maximum?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you check, you're in charge. You tell the district whatever you care to. If you were to check the listing of the newsletters on the webpage of Sun Lakes, you will see that almost 3/4 of them, or at least a half, I'll say that, are 1 page. 1 sheet, 1 page, only 1 side. I really have difficulty going through all of the things that we've gone through for the last 15 minutes because I think it's academic. But are there any other questions so that we have complete clarity from everyone? Bob? Or Chris? Oh, all right. Anything else? All right. Then we're back to the agenda. The
We
next
do,
item-
so there's been a vote on that, we're good. We understand, because there's something else, Joe, we need, and I'm gonna let Jason, this is a carryover from the last delegates. We never completed a vote, and we need to do that at this meeting now.
Last month, going along with the newsletters, last month it was a request from EPAP to add in their newsletter to your guys' newsletter, or an attachment, just like we have a message from the board and the community awareness. Last month, we did have a first and a second to approve that, except discussion like we just had kind of went on, and we never got a vote on that.
Okay. It was to my knowledge that awareness has been approved of by the Board of Directors, and that is printed at will. It was also my information that EPAP is going to have a information sheet every other month, and that also was approved of by the Board of Directors.
The board actually said, as long as you guys, the delegates, are okay with it. That's why it was on your agenda last month.
Okay, so those two concepts were accepted by the Board of Directors, and they're out of our hands. Is that right? Okay?
That was just it. The board said, give it to the EPAP, give it to the delegates, let them see if they want it in here. So last month, we had a first and a second to approve it. It's just discussion started, and it never got voted upon.
Okay. May I have you need a motion then and approved.
I
All
have
right.
a question.
Go ahead.
Does that mean it's going to be at the printers and the printer's going to attach it? Yes. Okay.
That's right.
I move that we allow EPAP to have a bi-monthly addition to the district newsletters.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Now we're all set? Yes. Have we satisfied all of our needs? Okay. This was a topic that was strictly controlled by the district delegates, and it had no input from the membership.
So we,
Thank
so
you.
as a resident,
No,
we can't provide
no,
any
I
comment?
said no information from the residents, please.
Ken, why don't you come up during the members'
sad day.
comments?
Sad.
Ken, why don't you put that in members' comments
Okay.
when it comes up, when it comes to that section?
When your time comes up for
I
the
may
membership.
be able to do that. I have to take my wife to a setting that, because I'm her caregiver.
No.
It just, in the past, I always thought you always had some
Sir,
type of
you're-
comment.
hey,
So
sir,
that's okay.
You're out of line, please.
I'm sitting down.
No,
I'm
would you
sitting
please sit down? Thank you. I think that was an item on our agenda that had to do strictly with the delegates, and it had to do with their control of their newsletters and coordination with the Board of Directors. And I think that the input, we did not need, nor was it required of any input from the membership. Okay? The next item on our agenda is the budget from Chris.
So this is just following up on the open session that I hope you all saw or were able to see on Channel 97. This was the October 26th meeting. I've just handed you one of the slides. Each you should find at your desk, a slide from the presentation that I did. Again, the board, let's recap quickly, because I have a 3-minute timeline. I understand the 2 minutes, I'm sorry, thank you. The assessment will go up $10. This will begin January 1st. The new assessment will be $346. That would be helpful if you did drop that into your newsletter, because this is one item that does get missed by homeowners. They didn't see their bill. They didn't see the board meeting. They didn't get the annual disclosure packet, and they're still paying the prior year's assessment rate. So very helpful if you just put a little blurb. January 1st, 2023, assessment is $346. Right now, we are sending this to the printer. The large packet that each of you will receive, first-class mail, to comply with the civil code, will have the pro forma budget, which is the summary of it. It has input on the reserves, some of the items that will be coming up in the new year. It has the delinquency policy updated for January 1st, 2023, architectural guidelines, miscellaneous disclosures where you need to send a payment if it's expedited or you need overnight, where do you send it to? Just some general information. Every year we send this out in a nice packet. So this will also, when the printer finalizes it, this will be on our website. Also, you can go to the website under the general, under budget. If I just go there quick, And you'll go under accounting, header, budget. You'll see that this presentation will be there along with the other presentations that happened previously. So that is on our website as well. That completes the report.
Chris, in the past, I thought our expense budget was around 10 or 11 million. This says 18.
It's been, so what you're looking at, Joe, is the one that nets golf and food and beverage. That gets down to the 11. This is the pure, what are the pure revenues and the pure expenses. So it is 18 million. That includes the contribution, 2 million to the reserves and the pure expenses, matching the revenues that are earned in the restaurant, the golf course, and the assessment. So really, when you break it out, it is an $18 million budget.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of Chris on the budget? Okay. Oh, go ahead. Use the microphone. There you go.
Can we put the assessment, can we print, let's just say, this is November, in our December newsletter, can we tell the residents that the assessment for 2023 will be $10 more?
Yes, please. I want you to just drop something in your newsletter so that people know.
Oh, okay.
January 1st,
Okay.
the assessment is going up $10.
Okay. So we can, okay, thank you very much.
Yes, please. That would
Okay.
help a lot. That's
Thank
why
you
I'm
very
pleading
much.
with you to tell your members, because many members are still paying the prior rate. We have to talk to them. Bad things happen, so
Thank you
please.
very much.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Oh, one, Randy, that's actually, thank you. That's good. Also, if you have an automatic draw from your bank for the assessment, they're going to need to update that. That's a great thing because members forget to call the bank. They have auto pay through ClickPay, through, no, not, I'm sorry, their regular bank, Bank of America, et cetera. You need to make sure, bill pay, that you're telling your bank, I up that amount for January 1st. Because that also happens that members forget to update the bank and then they get a delinquency notice. And do you want to do the subs?
With ClickPay, if you have ClickPay, as you guys know, there's two options with ClickPay. You can either pay what's due or you can pay the full amount. If you put down pay full amount, it will automatically update.
Yes.
But if you put down what's due, it's just going to pay the constant rate that you've been paying, so you will have to update that. So that's with ClickPay. So you have those two options. Just remember that. Subs did increase as well. Lakeside did go up $10. Lakeside 2 went up $8, and Fairway Villas went up $7. So those increases will be out as well. Remember, when you're in the subs, you have two different statements each month.
Good. Thank you, Jason. Go ahead, George. Or wait a minute, over here, please.
This adds up to 13 million, a little under 14 million for next year from the HOA dues. Is the rest of the 18 million, does that come from profit of something we are doing here?
So you have assessments. You're going to have non-assessment income. That is the income from the golf course, the annuals, the daily fees that are daily rate. You're going to have restaurant income from the dinners, the lunches in there, and those are an offset that add up to 18 million of revenues. Then you have 18 million of expense, which includes 2 million for the reserve and the remainder spent for bulk internet, bulk cable, etc.
So there are some things in this that do make a profit during the year.
No, that the amenities do not make a profit. The golf course restaurant does not make a profit. They are subsidized by the assessment.
But we're still 4 million short from our assessment for the HOA fees.
That is going to be the revenue that is non-assessment revenue.
Okay.
And I can
Golf
sit with you
course,
offline.
Restaurant, bar.
I can go offline and talk to you about that, show you the worksheet.
Sure, thank you.
Go ahead over there. There was another one. You had a question? No, George?
I did, Joe, but I think
Oh, go
Peggy's
ahead. Go-
before me.
Jason, did you say Fairway Villas is going to go up $7? That's correct. So now instead of 150, it's 157. Okay, I can tell the residents that.
You can tell the residents.
Thank you very much. I just want to get permission.
Okay, Joe, if I could just ask a question. Chris, what is the HOA assessment minus cable? Because I really like residents to know exactly what the HOA payment is, minus cable.
So that is going to be, and I do break that down in the mailer that goes out. There's a little breakdown of it. Sorry, it's going to have to load up now. So I think it's $50-something for the bulk internet. It's loading. I got to load it up on the computer.
Would you send us that number exactly, Chris? Could you do that? Good, thank you.
You got it.
George, go ahead.
This is, do you have a number yet for what the annual is going to be for the annual golf membership?
I do not. I'd have to load that up as well. That was also updated, and let me see. Yeah. It did go up $100.
Thank you.
So your annual golf rate for the championship course will be $2,600.
Okay.
We're still rolling forward with the second household discount. That would have been $2,170. Then for the executive, that annual is $1,500. The second household annual rate is $1,230. We're still going to provide the option to pay monthly if you wish. And as a key thing for golf, you got to remember to get this done before January 2023 for your annuals and setting up for your monthly. And something different, actually, this is actually good. When you come in and I want to sign up for a 2023 golf annual and pay monthly, you're going to make your first payment at that point. In the past, we haven't done that, and then people then get billed in December, have to pay in January, and pay for another January. So you will have to pay a down payment your first month when you sign up for your annual golf. And then they will be billed through your house accounts.
If you go monthly.
If you go monthly, yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Peggy.
Back to the HOA and the cable assessment. Everyone has to pay the cable assessment, whether you like it or not,
That's true.
right?
That is correct.
That's not changed.
Peggy, the reason why I brought it up is we are told, oh, 346 is very high, but like Four Seasons does not have cable included in their HOA. That's why I like to break it out. We are constantly being related to Four Seasons, so we are way under what Four Seasons pays. That's the only reason why I break it out.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Thank
sure we still have to pay it. Okay.
$59.21. You were close, it was 59 and change. So $59.21 of the assessment is related to the bulk internet and cable.
Okay. That is the charge for Spectrum.
Correct.
That deducted from the 346 will give our true HOA assessment.
And so you'll see a little chart in there in the mailer that goes out that
Okay.
has that breakdown.
Are there any other questions on the part of the delegates on the budget? Okay, then we have the Board of Directors. Bob?
Thank you, Joe. We wanted to thank First Service staff, Financial Advisory Committee members, and all of the board members for their collaborative efforts in developing this budget. We went through 5 different drafts to come up with the appropriate savings and try to keep that as a reasonable increase and nothing excessive. Some announcements we have. Dan Comerford, who you're probably all aware of, he unexpectedly passed away Friday, October the 7th. He had been a multiple-term member of the Master Board, and his wit and expertise will be greatly missed by the entire community. A celebration of life will be held on Saturday, November 12th, here in the ballroom from 2 to 4. Lon Varner has been appointed as our new non-board member treasurer, and his term will run through April 1st of 2023. The board position left vacant by the passing of Dan will be filled during the next election cycle. The candidate who wins third place will serve the remainder of that one-year term. The board has awarded the new community patrol contract to Securitas. We want to thank the procurement advisory committee members for their assistance in making this decision on their recommendations. By streamlining and focusing on security issues directly, we project an annual savings of approximately $150,000. Peggy Andrews resigned her position as district delegate from 21, and Cal Martin was appointed as the new district delegate. Thank you, Cal. The board approved the Golf Advisory Committee's request to have the staff begin the process of acquiring bids for the board to review the resurfacing of the white tee boxes on holes 4, 7, 11, and 14. And the board also approved the staff to acquire bids for renovating the fairway bunkers on the championship course.
In addition to what Bob said, the board approved the RV Storage Committee's request to have the RV storage area payments annual or monthly. We wanted to go in working with Chris and Jason on this. We wanted to get to the same system that was used with the golf course, the golf annuals, do monthly rather than quarterly. It became a little bit of an accounting nightmare, right, Chris? The listening sessions are continuing the first Monday of the month, this coming Monday, November 7th at 3:30 in the Sandwich. There should be one, but probably two board members there. In an event to deter unauthorized entry to our community at night, the board has approved the first reading restricting the entry via the unstaffed gates 3, 4, 5, and 6 between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. This matter will return to the board for final approval January 25th, 2023 open meeting. The intent of that, this will not affect, just for clarity, will not affect leaving the facility. The gates will still open, just cannot come in through those gates. So an emergency personnel will still have full access.
Could you repeat those gate numbers?
3, 4, 5, and 6. They're unmanned during the hours that they're all unmanned. And 5's the only of those that's ever manned, of course. The board approved the following, we just kind of addressed it, the following golf rate increases: $100 for the annual for both courses, $50 for the executive only. The daily rate increases from $35 to $38 for members, and the daily guest rate is increased from $45 to $50. The Community Awareness Program is scheduled for November 21st from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the main ballroom. The guest speaker will be Romanita Cruz Young, a senior veteran service representative from the Department of Veteran Services. Now, everybody that's interested in the community awareness, as we all should be, you don't need to be a veteran to come listen to that, because you'll hear a lot of stuff, and even as delegates, you might be able to take it back to other members of the community. It's through the Department of Veteran Services. Michelle, is it the State Department or through the federal? Through the federal.
I asked whether it was a state representative or a federal representative, and the answer is it's a state representative. Thank you.
No, federal.
Oh,
now
it's federal.
You got it backwards, George.
Okay. So it's federal. Okay.
Federal, correct. The speakers are also going to include from a representative of the Banning Police Department, and Mike Romero, Director of Securitas. And that's all from the board.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question, okay? My newsletter is going to go out this afternoon to the printer. Are all of these various and sundry flyers that the delegates are supposed to distribute with their newsletter going to be printed so that I'm not held up, my newsletter is not held up at the printer for 3 or 4 days while Randy, for instance, or Bob, get their PDF file on the board notes to the printer?
The board,
They're already submitted. That goes back to the reasoning that the meetings were
What are
put.
you saying? What are you saying?
They are already been submitted to the printers, to both sets of printers.
They're already at the printer.
They're already at the printers.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for one clarity, the reason we put the open meeting and then followed the next week in working with Joe for the delegate meeting is that in the ensuing week, we got all the stuff ready to go, have this meeting, you guys can then move on and get your newsletters in.
So all those flyers are at the printer now. Right, good.
Another question? Back to regarding the access through gates to improve security. At the board meeting, I was kind of under the impression that it would block access and egress, but now you're saying that if you're going to leave the community, the gate will swing open. So it kind of seems to me like we've actually lowered the bar on our security another level. If it really is going to stay closed, then we have to access by either climbing over the gate or a wall someplace in the community. But now we've just said we don't have to climb over a wall. All we have to do is stand there until somebody leaves, and then we can walk right in. So I'm not sure how secure this policy change really makes us.
Yeah, as Chris just said, the goal at this point is to target cars, not people. People are a potential problem. Walk-ins and hopovers absolutely are always a risk, and so forth.
Well, how's a car getting in at any time that is not authorized?
Yeah, they tailgate somebody coming in. Like say you were coming in, and if they go right in on your tail end, the bar will not come down, or if it does, it'll hit and pop back up. And that's what people have been known to do. I've been at gate 5 and 6 numerous times when somebody's right on my tail, they don't have a blue sticker, I slow way down, make sure the gate comes down before they do it. But then apparently yesterday the mailman took out took out the bar on gate 6.
okay.
What time was that? What was the time?
10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay, anyone else, any of the board of directors here? No? Okay. Administration, Chris?
Yes, I have an update. So, delegate updates for new homeowners within their district will be sent by the end of the day tomorrow. Manny is getting caught up on this and make sure that these are for the new homeowners within each of your districts. That will be sent out tomorrow. The open session board meeting, I don't know if Randy Bobby said this, but there will be no open session on November 9th. There will be an open session on December 7th at 1 p.m. We had to move forward because when we previously planned prior year, there was not planned an open session for December. December 14th was taken in the evening. We had to move forward to December 7th. That meeting will run from 1 and will promptly end at 3:30 because there's another event right after the board meeting. Again, Christmas holidays, everyone's having their parties. So please note that. Then, and you'll be getting an email from Tammy, it is time for our annual appreciation event. This will be held December 15th at noon. This is for the delegate, the alternate delegate, committee members, and board members. And this is the annual event, as you might remember, that we thank everyone for volunteering. I think last year many of you who came really, I believe, enjoyed the food that was provided by Chef Noe. It was Chef Noe that time that it provided. We're going to follow the same type of thing. I think bring back the pasta and the Alfredo sauce. So the key thing, you need to make sure that you have to reserve RSVP. Call 951-769-6649. You'll speak to a gentleman, he's at the front of the desk, DJ Johnson, and you must RSVP before 5 o'clock, December 8th. That way we know how many people are coming, how much food. So key thing, this is December 15th is the event. Deadline to RSVP is December 8th at 5 p.m. Again, call, if you're interested in attending, call DJ Johnson, 951-769-6649. Again, delegate, alternate delegate, board member, committee member. That's it. Those are the ones who are on the invite list.
What was the time again?
12 noon, lunchtime. And it's going to be held here in the ballroom, just like we did last year.
Very good. We sure appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
Jason, do we have any other updates?
Just to let you guys know, age verification. We did reach our 80%. Thank you, delegates, very much for all the work you put into it. I do think it was some of our older residents that were holding out, because last month when I talked to you, we were right about that 72, 73 range. Now we're at 74.1. So I think it was some of our older ones that were holding out, but we still are brushing on that 70 age, that 70 average age there. So we are lowering. Like I said, it used to be right about that 80 mark, and we're coming down now. But again, thank you guys for all the work that you guys put in. I know a lot of you went door to door, and we thank you for that. But we did get it in. We did get the 80%, and we will continue to be a 55-plus community for at least 2 more years.
Okay, next on the agenda are the delegate comments or announcements. District 1.
Can you hear me? For District 1, I'm Mary Langley. I'm the alternate delegate today. There's been a report about the trash trucks. For about the last month and a half, glass has been falling out of the trucks as they turn the corners. It's a concern for people walking, for dogs stepping in. If there's something that can be done about that, to check on it, to waste management, residents are picking up the glass.
Good, thank you.
The other one is a concern through a resident about someone coming through their gate. Their gate is not locked in their residence, but they considered it invading their privacy, leaving candy and real estate information. They were upset about this. She doesn't want to have to lock her gate. I spoke to our delegate, and she suggested that can't be stopped if people are in here, housekeepers or landscapers, leaving mail at your door or something. I don't know. I tried to contact this person again today, and she didn't answer her phone to get an update. She was going to check with administration or association, but I was asked to bring this today.
Okay. District 2.
I wanted to thank all of our captains, our EPAP captain, and our delegates. Not our delegates, I'm sorry. Let me start over. Okay. The EPAP coordinator for District 2, and all of our zone captains that's really helped out with the when we were having
the drill.
The drill. I have all this written down, but it's still not coming out right. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. We did a good job. We had great cooperation, and our EPAP captain did finally step up to the plate.
Well, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jim Nickel, District 3. I'm on the same page. I just want to put a good word out for Candace and Dick Spalding, and they had meetings with us. I'm the EPAP coordinator. They had meetings, got us supplies, got vests for our people. We got our radios connected. I'm also with District 2 and 5. We communicated. It was a great drill. In mine, I had a 99 out of 144 home participation, which is 68.75%. And I think it helped a lot because I was able to put it in my newsletter every month to make people aware. And then I was amazed at how many people didn't have the cards or the file of life. I put my phone number, they called me at all hours, and I delivered them. So I think it was a great experience. And from my point of view, I think we should do it perhaps every year, because a 2-year lapse is a long time. People forget, and they don't really get in tune with how important this is. But it was a great program. I enjoyed it, and I was a medical officer, and I did all that good medical stuff. So it was a great experience, and it's great for our community and our residents. So and I would highly, all our delegates get involved to some degree. I met a lot more residents, and I felt more in tune with what's going in our district. So congratulations, Candace. It was a great effort, the communication. I also had a meeting. I had 10 zone captains participate. I had 2 alternates. They started on time. They wore their vests. And I told the residents, watch out for somebody in orange vest. They may be knocking on your door. So I think the communication worked very, very well. I was very pleased with the results. And again, great experience. And thank you.
We, the drill has been an annual occurrence until we hit the COVID. And then it was set aside and all the rest of it. But in years past, we not only had the drill, we had it in coordination with the hospital and with the medical centers nearby. So it was a coordinated effort from anyone within Beaumont and Banning area. And in fact, our EPAP even coordinated what we were doing with other HOAs in the area. So they've done a fantastic job. Now they are trying to get EPAP back up where we were 5 years ago. That's the problem. And through our efforts and the efforts of your zone captains, we can do that. Dolores, you have any comment?
This is for Michelle. You mentioned that Bob is going to be handing out the turkeys. Is he going to dress up in a turkey costume? Oh, come on, Bob.
Okay, next.
Dave Miller, District 5. I'd like to thank all the zone captains. They did a great job. We've got 165 houses. We had 70% of the people had flags up. They did fantastic. Thank you.
Jesse?
Jesse Ocampo, District 6. All 9 zone captains did their job. Thank you.
Really?
No comment.
George?
Yes, I'd like to thank the zone captains in District 9 as well, acknowledge their good work. They jumped right on it and got the job done. I would like to say that, just like my other fellow delegate, I was amazed at how many people did not have their file of life. I gave out all I had, which were like 10, and I have one whole street where the zone captain did not knock on every door. And I'm going to have to contact everyone on that street because I want to make sure I got as close to 100% of the people in my district have that file of life on their refrigerators. Very important. I'm aware of how important it is when the folks from the EMT get there and need that information. It could be life-saving, and so that's important. I'd like to get with the EPAP person and see if I can get some more of those. Also, I would like to make an appointment with her, and maybe the other delegates want to do this as well, to go through our emergency pack and make sure that everything in there is current and that we have everything we need. So I'd like to help with, could we get coordination with you folks too on that? Thank you so much.
Yes, we met with many of the districts prior to the drill and went through their bins and made sure that everything was updated. As far as the file of life go, we have dispersed all that we have. We have a few more of the packets that need to be put together. We're working on that, and we've ordered more. So give us a couple of weeks, and we should have more that we can hand out to you.
Peggy?
I really didn't have anything to say until you spoke about the file of life. And I wanted to tell you, I have, you know, that card that is in the file of life, I have that on my computer as a PowerPoint file and as a Word document in case any of your residents want an extra sheet. You know, you can just, I could just print it off, or I could send it to you and you could just print it off, because those cards, if you do it in ink, guess what? If your doctor's name changes, or you change doctors, you can't erase it. So if anybody would like to have it, I've got it in PowerPoint, and I've got it as a Word document. And it's the exact same information that's on the card, but it would just be on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper.
Thank you, Peg.
Janice Rice, alternate delegate for District 13, and I want to piggyback on everybody else. I was the EPAP coordinator. Our zone captains came out. We had a very small district, I realize, but we had a great turnout. Everybody cooperated, and if we didn't have people with cards, they went to the door, and it was really good. And I appreciate Candace's efforts. She's worked with me since I haven't even been here a year yet. It will be November 14th will be my first anniversary of being here at Sun Lake. So I have stepped into many positions. So I really am enjoying it here, and thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Judy?
I don't really have anything to talk about. Oh, this is Judy. My name is Judy Creel with District 15. As far as EPAP, because my guy quit. So, but I did have a question, and I don't know who this should go to. If we found a den of coyotes north of Glen Eagles by Pebble Beach in a conduit, under a conduit in there, who do we contact, and what do they do about that? Does anybody know?
Go ahead, Chris.
So we're going to first contact Schleiden, so thank you for bringing it to me, so that we can then touch base with you. You can tell us exactly where this den is.
Okay.
We'll work with Schleiden and then city as well.
Okay, thank you.
There's the gentleman.
And I have already been to that site of the den. So we put a scent around it to discourage it. We've also thought about filling it in. We flushed it out. We were thinking about filling it in with concrete. So it's being addressed. That's all I can say. And
Thank you.
Fish and Game is, you know, they're out of the question. They're not going to come on site. They're not going to do any assistance.
Right.
We've thought about setting a trap, but the trap will be taken by somebody else, another resident. So unless I can secure it, cement it, and lock it, it'll be taken.
All right, thank you.
If anything else like that occurs, I think the best is to notify security. Is that right, Chris? And
You
they
can
will
start
get
there,
it-
they'll do an incident report.
And they will get it to Mark.
And then it will come through Mark and myself.
And
yes.
to Chris, right, okay. Go ahead.
Ronell English, District 16, I don't have anything.
Okay. Nancy?
Nita Cook, District 17. I just want, on October 8th, we had our garage sale and donated all of the proceeds to Pass Action, and it was very successful. And I want to thank Carol Spinden in particular, and the army of volunteers that we had. It was absolutely amazing. So thank you, everybody, for your hard work.
Okay, Linda?
Oh, you want me to say? We, between our sales, which was around $5,000, we had some donations as well, so it was over $6,000 that we raised.
Wow, very nice. Thank you.
District 19 had an amazing turnout for the drill. And I just want to mention that EPAP has been providing training and support for 30 years. This is no new kid on the block. And it was started by Bob Ewert, a retired fire chief of LA, I believe. and Dan English. So they started our program, and you all should also know that our EPAP program is what is the model from many communities that surround us. For example, Four Seasons and Solera, they have used our model. So Bob Ewert and Dan did an amazing job, and I'm glad that that EPAP is picking up and getting organized again, because you will be alone for at least 48 hours if there is an emergency. So we have to have that support and training, and you know, I appreciate you, Candace. I want to just mention about Pitch Putt Party. We had 48 people in September, we had 47 in October, and we had 40 on Tuesday. It has been amazing. We're getting new people out. There's a lot of competition out there. We're having fun with competition. And then, so we start at 2:30, 3 o'clock, takes us about an hour and a half. We come up to the Sand Wedge for drinks. Food, and just a lot of fun. And I want to put a shout out to Zach, because Zach, who works in the pro shop, has helped us tremendously. So we're going to be dark for December and January with Pitch and Putt. You'll be notified by email, or it will be on Channel 97, and it looks like we might start, weather permitting, in February of 2023. So if you don't have a putter and you don't have a pitching wedge, I have 10 of each, so there's no excuse for you not to come out and join us. Thank you.
I might add on the EPAP that over the years, a number of us went out to other HOAs and spoke about our EPAP program on request. So we are fairly well known, at least in the state of California, for our program. And you're right, it did start with Bobby Wirt and Dan English. Barbara?
Barbara, District 20. I was asked by one of the zone captains about the availability of the generators, or compressors, I don't know what they're called. Generators.
Go ahead.
I can answer that. We have actually 2 gentlemen that are servicing and taking care of the generators. There are 2, I believe, that are located at the Emergency Operations Center, which is right next door to the maintenance yard. The generators would be used, and we have actually done this in the past, if we need oxygen and people have run out of their the power, they don't have it at their house, we will have power in the bus room, and they will be notified, and they can come up and plug in whatever is necessary for their medical needs.
Okay. Did you have anything to add to that? No? Okay. Carl? I would like everyone to give Carl congratulations for joining our ranks as a delegate.
Far
Go
too
ahead,
kind.
Carol.
I have nothing to add at this moment in time.
Okay.
Mike Voles, District 22 delegate. Newbie me and Newbie our EPAP person, and the volunteers that jumped in. We had a successful EPAP. We found a person that we took care of, so it was a successful time. Also, I'd like to say that I'd like to thank Bill McDade for, he put on our District 22 golf tournament, which was a good success, and we come up with a fair amount of money to give to the veterans on Veterans Day. So I wanted to give Bill a shout out.
Thank you.
Dan Cosner, District 23. Just a comment about the tailgating coming in the gates. We use gate 6 a lot, and I've had it happen to me a couple times here recently of people trying to tailgate me. And if they show the pineapple on their windshield, I don't do anything. I just drive on through. But if they don't, I just drive through under the gate. I stay in front of the iron gate, which doesn't seem to close. But the bar will come down, and then I can go on, and they get furious because they couldn't tailgate me in. Another announcement from our district. For our Christmas charity giveaway, we collect recycles throughout our district. We ask the people to volunteer their recycles for us, and because of Bob Albaugh, the previous delegate, he puts this all together every month, and we have been averaging about $200 a month to add to our charity program. Anyway, I just wanted to give Bob a yell out for that, and that's about it. We don't have any report for our EPAP.
Jim? The only comment I would like to make is this, that this district delegate assembly is a meeting. It is not a debate arena. When we have listed here, we have the administration and members of the board of directors. We are very, very different from most HOAs because they don't have attendance from the board or the administration. And in fact, they have meetings maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and we have them almost every month. So our meeting is operated under the Roberts Rules of Order, and I want to make sure that we understand that, okay? So in the future, the board or the administration, when we ask them questions, do not have to give us answers. They can wait until a later date or bring it back at the next meeting. That is always possible because they might want to research or they might want to check on something. So we shouldn't always expect a reply. Now the next we have is from the HOA members. Ma'am?
Hi.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Tina, my address? Okay. My name is Tina Coward, and I'm in District 4. And I'm kind of following up on what Cal said about moving along with the times. I don't know if you're aware of the fact that ATMs have been out since 1990. They were developed in 1969, so that's 32 years. So I think we're a little behind here in this Sun Lakes. I haven't owned a checkbook in over 25 years. So every time there's something I have to pay, it's a thing. I called someone, I've lived here a little over a year, and about a year ago is when I called to find out when ATMs would go into effect here, because I was sure we had to have been front of the corner. And they told me, yeah, in about a month or so we should have that set up, and well, haven't heard a peep. So just wondering when we're gonna times have changed dramatically. And I don't know, it's crazy to me that people still have checkbooks. So to pay for anything, yeah, I haven't owned one in 25 years and I've gotten along just fine with my ATM. So anywho, I just wondered if that's in consideration at some point, because times have changed. 32 years. No, I don't do cash. I use ATM. Rarely have cash. I have to get cash from the bank if I need it.
Cash.
Thank you. Go ahead, Chris, if you want to answer.
You said you use cash or an ATM or?
I use a card. I don't carry cash unless I,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
I maybe
So-
carry $5 in
Okay,
my
perfect,
wallet.
because I want to say there is no ATM coming that dispenses cash, because we're moving away from the cash system as the world is right now. We will have our cryptocurrency debit, and I'm just kidding. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not. Do not send the hate mail to message to management, Bob. Seriously, though, you're right. There have been checks for the groups that needed to sign up for a recreation event, and we're rolling out with one of the changes we're doing with the new rollout with the POS system. We should have the iPads. I think we were starting mid-December, Jay, is arming recreation with these iPads that they will be able to do transactions on your house account or your credit or debit account. And so pretty much checks are going to go away as well. This new system, again, We don't accept cash. We will start doing clubs, even in admin. You'll begin to, excuse me, be able to use your credit card, house account, or if you have a debit card, you will be able to start to use that. So that will be changing. Look for that in December, but Recreation will have their own system, so you won't have to do a check. You'll be able to do yes. But I think there was confusion with ATM about the cash. We don't accept cash, and soon we'll move away from checks. We will still always, though, I think we're going to still have some need to accept checks because some of the clubs they'll write a check from the club for their events, and so we're working through that. So we won't totally get rid of checks, but cash is gone.
Okay. Are there any other members of our HOA? If not, I have a question. Shall we meet in the month of December? No. Do I have
There's
a
a
motion?
motion.
Do I have a motion? Go ahead. There's a motion and a second that December becomes vacant and that our next meeting will be in January. All those in favor?
Aye.
I think it's been carried. This meeting is adjourned, and thank you very much for attending.
And we'll see you at the volunteer event.
And yes, please remember that you must RSVP. Don't just walk in on that morning or that at noontime because you're not going to get in.